A very warm welcome to you all on today's webinar on what are the ABCs of performance management during work from home, brought to you by CITRIX. We appreciate you taking off time of your busy schedules to join us for this knowledge sharing webinar. I am Kalpana Singhal, Editor-in-Chief CXO TV, and your host for today's webinar. Allow me to take a bit of your time to introduce you to the webinar and set the context right. Most of the employees in your organizations must be currently working from home, and I'm sure they would be encountering myriad performance challenges ranging from their desktops, laptops to the collaboration solutions. As CIOs, CTOs, or as system integrators or ISVs, you would be striving to have the perfect adaptive orchestration to offer them the best user experience based on server, network connection, and user devices. Different remote users would have different challenges based on their roles and functions and requirements. It could be a graphics optimization issue for some, or for others it could be a memory optimization issue. Be it the optimization of Microsoft Teams collaboration suite or your VDI or your RAM performance. You would have wished for performance management solutions that not only optimize your resources but boost productivity too. Without further ado, let's hear more about such performance management solutions from the horse's mouth itself. Let me introduce you to Fenil Shah. Fenil has been working on CITRIX technology since last 10 years. He currently serves as Senior Solution Architect at CITRIX. He started his journey at CITRIX Center of Excellence at Tata Consultancy Service. He worked as CITRIX Certified Instructor for 6 years. He is having expertise into end-user computing and security domains. He has previously run his CITRIX training and consulting organization for 4 years. Welcome, Fenil, and thanks for joining us today. Before I ask you the first question, let me inform all our participants to make the discussion more interesting and engaging. We will have polling during the presentation and a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So keep voting and sharing your questions in the questions box. Okay, Fenil, how do you deliver best performance over any network, including low bandwidth and high latency WAN connections, if you can tell us?
Fantastic. Yeah, sure. And certainly in this pandemic time where everyone is accessing from home and they want a best experience the way they are getting when they are in the office. Yeah, they were on their physical desktops and they were accessing their applications, content seamlessly. They want the same experience to happen when they connect from anywhere in the world. Over any devices. These days we have a variety of devices and the whole industry is talking about work from home and bring your own device. Yeah, so certainly I'm going to talk on those features and functionality from CITRIX side which helps you on the high latency or when you're connected over the large distance. At that time, how does that help you, right? So let us start with one thing which is the base of the CITRIX architecture, and that is CITRIX protocol. Yeah. The people who must be aware with the CITRIX technology understand that the ICA, that independent computing architecture, is the CITRIX protocol. The enhanced functionality inside the ICA, this made protocol as an high definition experience. CITRIX has worked on this protocol since last 30 years, and day by day, year by year, the virtual channels are being enhanced into this protocol. So right now, this protocol has around 32 virtual channels, and it has a support of all the variety of peripherals. So you see over here that we have partnered with a lot of different vendors who provides biometric, who provides, let's say, ink pen, who provides, let's say, smart card, or if you have the face recognition, a lot of different types of devices required. You want thin client, zero client for any device. So we have certified devices from the partners world, right? So that is available on CITRIX Ready website. So if you haven't gone through that list, you can certainly go through, and then you would understand that the list of graphic enabled applications even certified by CITRIX, right? So that is what the power of the protocol. Now to go deeper into protocol, because this is what the heart of any architecture and ensure that the best end user experience is available. Now, first, certainly that these days, when you are accessing your physical systems, maybe graphic enabled physical system from home, then you want that access to be available over any network at home. When you are accessing that, you want your audio to be connected, your video to be connected. If you have Microsoft Teams on your office physical desktop, at that time you want a seamless WAN optimization available for Microsoft Teams, Skype for Business, Zoom, yeah, and you want that to be available even on the mobile devices. So here you see there are the different channels available for high definition experience, where we talked about that HDX plug and play is going to give the scanner connection, printer connection at home, and you are going to connect with the VDI setup very well. Right now, HDX protocol, mainly I'm focusing on Citrix virtual apps and desktop. Now, certainly you must have gone through the Citrix sessions, right? Last 3 sessions, which focused on the Citrix technology from base for work from home, security and all. Today is the 4th webinar we are running for, and mainly the focus is on the performance in this webinar. Now to go deeper into this virtual channels, now you see that we have a dedicated virtual channel for audio, for printing. By default, Citrix only transfers mouse click, keyboard strokes and screenshots. So Citrix protocol can withstand, let's say you have a 1% of packet loss, 2% of packet loss, then we have something called local text echo functionality into end user device, so that you will not see any performance challenges. Let's say you are traveling into train and your network gets disrupted, then Citrix protocol has a session reliability functionality which ensures that your connection is intact. So the protocol is made in such a way that end user experience is the best when they move from 2G, 3G, 4G, LAN, Wi-Fi. So we have adaptive throughput, adaptive transport available. Now, when I talk about adaptive transport, right? So certainly there are things like, let's say you have audio or you have video. Now, certainly when you access YouTube, then you have the UDP connection, yeah, when you access YouTube. So in that particular case, what Citrix has done, that when you are having a high latency network and when you are connected via long distance, at that time you may see the performance challenges. That's why Citrix has enhanced the protocol in such a way that at runtime I can decide that I should have a connection oriented, which is TCP, or connection less, which is UDP. Now, when you go with the unreliable protocol like UDP, certainly you see performance challenges, right? But what Citrix has done, Citrix has created a proprietary protocol, which is EDT, Enlightened Data Transport Protocol, under the ICA, which ensures that you do not have performance challenges when you access over any network. To move across and showing you the advanced functionality of adaptive display, then when in your screen you may have a video content, you have a text content, you have images. So we have a compression, rendering, everything available for each and every type of content, each and every type of workload, right? And here you see that what you see inside the green, which is the video content getting compressed via H.264 codecs. Even Citrix supports H.265. We have thin wire plus the advanced codecs available for images. We have the text RLE, so we have those compressions available for text, and we only transpose delta changes. So certainly that helps you with the adaptive display. Now, certainly Citrix has a very strong integration with Microsoft, and here you see Microsoft Skype for Business, Microsoft Teams, all are greatly integrated, and we have a optimization available for this specifically, right? So there are a lot of organizations which are getting the benefit with Microsoft Teams when they are running on Citrix VDI. This is the advanced functionality when you are running a graphic workloads over NVIDIA or OpenGL. And let's say I'm connecting my system, my VDI, into the high resolution television. Now, certainly that is the big TV, and I want to divide my screen. So which you can see one video is running over here, and which you can see you have a different DPI settings, and you are dividing your screen, right? So right side, when you see one computer, a big computer or television is showing you 4 screen. Since Citrix VDI, you have that monitoring layout available, virtual display layout available, so that it can give you the multi-monitor experience over large or high resolution monitors and televisions. Yeah, so that is the another functionality which ensures the best end user experience. Now, certainly how we are enhancing the experience of our administrator, right, by having more users onto a single server. So few years ago, Citrix has announced one technology with workspace environment management, which ensures that more number of users can be delivered via your server operating system, your desktop operating system, CPU utilization can be reduced, and this was the focus, right, on the workspace environment management. So here you see I have without WAM and with WAM. So without WAM, when the number of sessions are connected and what is the server density we have, number of users per server, and when you see the working set with WEM, so the whole difference you can see on the session on the user density in the particular server density, right? So we always see that with WEM you are going to have the lower CPU utilization, lower RAM utilization, and even you can decide that certainly one user cannot impact the performance of another user, which is very critical when you deliver the hosted shared desktop. Now here, certainly logon optimization is the primary ask of user, right? My Citrix session takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. How you can reduce the logon time? So Citrix has again come up with this workspace environment management where the logon time can be optimized. You see that I have one particular agent running on each and every VDI, and it is doing the specific task which is actually done by the logon, right? And when user connects to the desktop, immediately session initialization and shell initialization process happens in that, so that from 45 seconds I have reduced to 5 to 15 seconds, and the remaining process is being given to WAM agent. So I would recommend that you, when if you're using a virtual apps and desktop, certainly look at the HDX policy. Each virtual channel can help you enhance the performance. At the same time, implement workspace environment management, so your worry about CPU utilization, RAM utilization, and then the logon optimizations all can be achieved. So here in this screen you can see the percentage of RAM reduction by implementing workspace environment management, and we see the great difference, right? And certainly that difference is noticeable, and even your user and admin will experience the same. So from 1.1 GB to 120 MB, 13.2 MB to 4.6 MB. So that is how the utilization changes for each and every types of workloads. So that is to be understood. Now, certainly you all would be having a lot of Citrix hypervisor. So when you have Citrix virtual apps and desktop, you get Citrix hypervisor. And certainly we recommend that you implement this because Citrix has a lot of image management technology which enhances performance at the data center level, right? So my machine creation services or provisioning services, so your IOPS can be reduced. You have a faster boot times, and the moment you have a faster boot times, your end user is going to get that particular system very fast, right? So here the few numbers are present which shows that if you are using a Citrix hypervisor, we have a machine creation services accelerator, PVS accelerator available, which ensures that with less IOPS and with faster boot times, you can even enhance the performance of your end user. One more thing, and this is liked by all the graphic intensive workloads. So we have a live migration, and another terms it's called as a Zen motion. So here you see we have NVIDIA graphic cards, and from one Zen server to another Zen server, if you have vGPU enabled workloads. So we have done it with the Red Bull, and we are running those graphic enabled workloads on the Red Bull and having that transfer from one physical server to another physical server, having a best end user experience. So I have covered the points related to virtual apps and desktop where the power of protocol, which gives you the best end user experience. Secondly, at the data center level, how one hypervisor and you have the machine creation services, PVS methods, which with Citrix hypervisor. And at the same time, I have shown you about the workspace environment management, how that can help you in your existing BCP time and when you have this virtual apps and desktop implemented. That's all,
Great.
Kalpana.
Okay, so I think it's time to run our first poll. And the question is, we can launch the poll. While using technology, do you believe that end user values base experience and productivity more than free food in the offices? So it's the result is 100%, 95% yes, and 5% no.
Okay, so 5% still wants food in the office than the technology. That's fine, but we'll go with the 95%, and certainly these are not the reports from certainly generated by me. This was the report generated by one of the well-known organizations, right? Gartner and McKinsey. And when they did survey, so all user wanted the best end user experience than the and the technology than the food, free food in the offices. So fantastic.
Can we also run a second poll?
Sure, why not? Let us
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. So we'll run our second poll as well. And let's see which is all about. Do you agree that
This is
industry is moving
probably, yeah,
perimeter security to zero trust? So it's the 85% people says yes and 15% says no.
no worries. Yeah, fantastic. So guys, certainly I'll take just 2 minutes to explain what zero trust is, right? So in data center or in the older time, where we were talking about the perimeter security, yep, and we had that, okay, this is my security place, this is my perimeter, and outside that perimeter, everything is unsecured. So we used to say that way. But now in last a couple of years, where authenticated user who is inside the offices, again, we keep on checking the trust of that user, right? So authenticated user even has to be authorized at couple of times. So simple, zero trust means whatever comes to you as in traffic, don't trust it. Keep on validating that trust. And the moment you start keeping on validating that trust, you would be able to make sure that your network, your environment is more secure than the perimeter security. Yeah, because we are in the time of bring your own devices, and maybe on my personal devices, maybe I have some malware which can try to hamper the infrastructure which I have into data center. But if I have zero trust implemented, then certainly I would be having something malware detection and all. So that is on poll. I just wanted to talk on, Kalpana. Hand it over to you.
Okay, so the next question which comes up is how
Yeah.
to get real-time insights for an always-on employee experience.
Okay, that's really a nice question. And guys, first of all, we talked about that how you're going to have the technology implemented to have a best end user experience. But afterwards, even though technology is in place, your users are going to complain. You are going to have those questions and a bombarding coming that I have a poor end user experience. And at the same time, based on our poll question, you understand that I was talking about zero trust. That's why Citrix came up with Citrix Analytics, where here I'm going to present and going to take the next 5 to 10 minutes of yours to present you how Citrix Analytics security and performance is going to help, right? So here you see that I have one particular user with the name Georgiana. Yeah, and I will talk about that. What do I mean by zero trust and checking everything? First of all, Citrix Analytics is a service available in the Citrix Cloud, and Citrix Analytics is going to get the data from all other Citrix products and services like Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktop, Citrix Workspace, Citrix Content Collaboration, and it is going Workspace app. It is going to get the data from all those data points, and then it is going to make sense of it. Yeah, Citrix Analytics is a behavioral analytics. It is based on machine learning and artificial intelligence. And when behavioral analytics you talk about, I'll just give you one example. That let's say you connect from one location from last 6 months. Let's say, Kalpana, you connect from Mumbai office since last 6 months, and tomorrow you get connected from Australia. Now, certainly this is the different behavior. Now, my system has noticed that in last 6 months you have connected over here, and tomorrow it is a different behavior. What needs to be done? Shall I block your access? Shall I notify you the way you get notified into Gmail, right? That please mention, was it you? Or shall I keep you in the watch list the way Georgiana is into our watch list? So that is why Citrix has created the risk score of 0 to 100. And here you see that these are the indications Citrix Analytics has received, that user has tried excessive screen captures, user has tried connecting from unmanaged devices, rooted devices. My posture check, endpoint analysis has failed, excessive file download has happened. Automatically, I have started the session recording. So the moment I start the session recording, I will be able to video view, right, what user has done it. I will be having a complete video with me, and step by step. So each and every product is going to detect the anomalies. And once the anomalies are detected, it is going to help you with the automated actions. Yeah, so that is what Citrix Analytics focuses on, security. But as we are talking much on performance, let me just take you to the user experience. Now, what Citrix does, Citrix defines the user experience based on the data we receive from Citrix Virtual Apps and Desktop has a director, Citrix Nextcolor has an ADM. So we get those data and we try to understand that data over here, and then we will make sense by explaining them into user experience score. Certainly, again, this score is from 0 to 100, and then it is decided that, okay, if you have a score of, let's say, 70 and more, then you have a good user experience, excellent user experience, then fair, and then the poor user experience. So what Citrix does, as we talked about HDX as a protocol, right? So we understand that what is the round trip time of that protocol. Yeah, what is the ICA round trip time? So that when you press the keyboard stroke into your device, how long it takes to go to VDI and get the response back to you. So we understand those terminology, RTT, and we can calculate for our protocol. And that is how it can help you to define the user experience. So here you see I have clicked the user experience, which is the poor user experience, and I can see there are 4 segregated paths present over here. First is on the session availability. Now, first in session availability talks about machine failure. So number of users tried connecting to the failed machine. Machines are failing. Second, when client user is trying to generate a connection, there is an error coming. Now, this guy not only talked about that what is the problem, but it will try to give you the solution too, which you see over here, right? So I'll talk on that, the solution. So client connection error, unavailable capacity. I am trying to connect, but I don't have any capacity left. I have a configuration errors to access the system. My licenses are unavailable. Yeah, inside the logon, you see there are some insights given by this guy. So let's say for this, possible reason could be that the drive maps is taking registry and Internet Explorer zone mapping is taking longer than expected time. So this guy shows you GPO, profile load, interactive sessions, brokering, each and everything into your launching session in detail, into your logon time in detail, so that it can help you with the better user experience. You see session resiliency, you see session responsiveness, which is having the latency mentioned. Now, what is data center latency? So data center latency is the from your Nextcolor to the data center, how long it has taken to get the response. And if you say WAN latency, so from your end user to the data center, Nextcolor, how long it has taken. Yeah, it calculates the round trip time, it calculates the number of retransmits, server retransmits, client retransmits, and it is going to help you with the latency. Yeah, so these are the pointers which helps you define the performance. And certainly you not only get the mail from user that, okay, I'm having a bad experience, but before user tells you, you can have all the details over here. Now, let's say there are people, I had one customer who had 53 sites, right? And in director, you can only see one site, but Citrix Analytics is the tool which can show you all the sites at the same time. Yeah, it can give you the broader view of your infrastructure. So Citrix Analytics can be used to point out all the directors of those sites so that you can have relevant information for a particular user on the performance front. Now, inside the performance, apart from this user experience score, we have another thing is called the infrastructure. Now, infrastructure, certainly you have lot of types of virtual delivery agents inside the multi-session OS and single session OS. And then you can go inside the multi-session OS. Now these are the all sites information you see about 12 hours, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. So it is going to go inside the particular site. All sites is going to give you the complete information about your infrastructure. So certainly, apart from security and performance analytics, the operation analytics is available, which is mainly for the content collaboration as an solution. So people who are aware of share file, right? So we have, so you can have enterprise level file, sync and share, and information rights management solution available with Citrix. So if user is uploading data, downloading data, how much data is being uploaded, what are the domains which are being accessed, if he's sending the file to someone else outside the organization, if you're looking that as a security threat, then inside the operations it can be gathered, it can be understood. So that is mainly from the operations front, right? So security, which detects the anomalies, which defines the risk score, and which takes the automated actions defined by you. Secondly, performance, mainly for the Citrix virtual apps and desktop, is going to help you to define the user experience. That is what Kalpana you asked, that how does it define the user experience? The performance Citrix Analytics is going to help you. And lastly, for the content collaboration, you can go and have the access of operations, which is going to give you the more details on that, right? So that is on the Citrix Analytics front. Over to you, Kalpana.
Time for us to run the third poll.
Yeah, please, let's do that.
The question for the third poll is, do you agree that there is a cost attached to productivity of a user? Let's see what's the result says. It's 100% yes.
I didn't expect that result, but that's fantastic. So we'll just take 1 minute, and I was going through the Foster and other documents, and what I realized that $800 to $1,000 per year is being invested into technology for each user, right? And when it is being invested, what is expected that the productivity of an employee in the organization goes higher and higher. But after 2007, till 2007, it was realized that it is going higher. But after 2007, whatever the digital transformation happened, right, the productivity is going down because of the application sprawl. Lot of applications, right? You have a web, SaaS, mobile, a lot of different types of applications you have. Secondly, you have a lot of types of devices. So I have my mobile device, I'm connected via laptop, my audio is connected via tablet. So certainly I have a lot of devices, so I switch between the device, context switching happen between the device, right? And certainly because of that, the focus gets shifted to the multiple application, and I need to remember a lot of username and password, right? When we have a lot of types of application and when single sign-on doesn't happen. Certainly we have a best end user experience when we access consumer apps. So just think about accessing Twitter, accessing Facebook, and your customized tweets are with you. And what you want to see is the only thing which is shown to you. So everything is taken care for consumer applications. Why can't we have the same for corporate applications, for employees, so that they have a best end user experience, their productivity is higher, so that the cost which is attached on the digital transformation, right, we can make sure that even after spending $800 to $1,000, your users are productive and they are doing the stuff what they are hired for.
So with that, Fenil will like to know how performance is related to productivity of user.
Okay.
Tell us more.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Yeah. So here you see, guys, I want to present Citrix Workspace to you. This is a single pane of glass where all your types of applications is present, which you see here. So I have web application, I have software as a service application, Windows apps, Linux apps, right? Mobile applications, all the variety available over here. Now you can access any types of application without entering the username and password again and again. The moment I click on a particular application, that application opens up. It has a watermark onto it from the security front, and then your user does not need to enter the username and password again. That is on the first front. Open any types of application from Citrix Workspace. Secondly, it has all the types of desktops. So you see I have my Windows 10 VDI, I have my another home desktops available. So I can access my any desktops from Citrix Workspace. You can have Windows, Linux based desktops, you can access it. Third, I have a data. Now certainly in the organization, data is the most important thing, yeah. And when the BYOD is implemented, if I can give you the access of application, desktop and data, nothing like it. So you see my enterprise file sharing and sync, right? Solution helps you having all the data here. So in my personal folders, I'll be able to see my personal data. I have my Dropbox, I have my network shares in the offices. If you have a Google Drive to be connected, OneDrive to be connected, we have a connectors for all those available, right? So that you can have data coming from multiple places in the organization at a single place. So what we did here, we organized your work so that you can have a better productivity by having all the applications at one place, having all the desktops at one place, and having all the files at one place. Now, we are not only organizing your work, we are helping you to guide your work. Now, what Citrix has done, Citrix has created one functionality. Citrix has made this workspace intelligent by having a micro apps available inside the Citrix workspace. Now, what does this micro app is? Micro app is nothing but a workflow. Now, how do I define the workflow? For an example, you are into sales and you create quote on Salesforce. So what do you do normally? You go to salesforce.com and then you enter with your company credential. You sign in yourself and then you go to the account. In accounts, you would be able to see the opportunities. Inside the opportunities, you will have something called quotes. When you go inside that quote, you have an option to create the quote. The moment you click on creating a quote, it shows you 5-10 different fields, and then you write down those 5 to 10 fields and then click on OK. Now, this is the workflow. Can I automate it? Yeah, so that is the first question we had in the mind. Secondly, what we had in the mind, instead of user goes to find out the information, it is said that our 20% of time which is being wasted can be saved by giving you the right information at right time. So you don't go to email and different applications to find out the right information. All the informations will be available to you in your screen. How does that available? For an example, let's say I am into IT and I need to look at all the severities. So what Citrix does, Citrix guide your work by showing you these cards. For an example, this card is available from ServiceNow as an application. So likewise, these workflows are created into micro apps for more than 100 software as a service application. And certainly you can have workflow created for your on-prem web apps, having the application REST APIs, you can create a workflows. Now here I have just shown the example of severity 1 ticket. So new severity 1 ticket is assigned to me, which you can see over here. The problem statement number. Now all this information is coming from ServiceNow. So I as a user don't need to go to ServiceNow to look at the severity 1 ticket or check my emails or look at all the emails I have. And now this organization can be done by administrator. You as an user decide that you want to see ServiceNow first and then you want to see the sales chart later. Yeah, so that is up to you. You decide which application is in your priority list. If you don't decide and today morning you come and directly look at all these cards and you see, oh wow, holy celebration. Okay, now this is the holy celebration I would like to look at first. Now when you look at this first, my machine has learned that you are interested in seeing the information coming from Google Calendar. Yeah, so it will show tomorrow all the Google Calendar things first. So you want to hand it over to machine learning to decide that what you are interested in. You remember we talked about Facebook and Twitter, that it shows the tweets the way you click on the information, right? So the same way my machine is learning it and showing you the information the way you want. Now, once the information is present, again, there is a lot of cards, right? So you are not going to go to all the cards and find out the information. That's why we have integrated this solution with Citrix Assistant. Now, what is the beauty with Citrix Assistant? You can relate with the Alexa, Google Home, Cortana. So when you relate with this and you tell Alexa that, okay, open my Twitter, you can tell Alexa that play this song. So the same way you can tell Citrix Assistant, maybe by typing, by speaking, let's say, okay, show me something which is of severity 1. So the moment you click on Sev 1, it goes to all the information you have. So you remember that 20% time which is being wasted in finding the right information, we can save that. So users productivity, 20% time saved, yeah. You can move to 4-day a week work. And certainly, or if you are going for 5 days a week, then last day can be more productive and you can work on what you are hired for. So this is the Workspace Assistant, Citrix Assistant is helping over here. And lastly, we were talking about that workflow and a specific action of creating a quote, right? So the same way over here, I have few recommended actions available for user. If you want to find a person into the office, I have a lot of different person present. You click on view details and then you will be able to gather the information. So instead of going to the specific employee services portal, I can have those informations available here, right? Then I have vendor approved access management. So I will be having some information related to that. I have the recent applications access over here, recent files access, recent desktop access. So we organize the work, we guided you for the work, we help you with the Citrix Assistant so that your search time is reduced. And lastly, we have shown all the recommended actions for the automation so that you can, instead of going to the specific applications, you can directly click on those applications and have the access. So you can now start thinking about that what are the different workflows I can automate in the organization. Yeah. So this complete solution is not only seen in this way on the desktop, but Kalpana, if you see and if you try to access it from your mobile devices, and my laptop is a touch screen, so I'll just touch. So it has all the senses present and you are going to have a similar experience. Now, instead of just having information on cards, just seeing that information, look at this lead assigned to me. Now, this is the lead assigned to me. What do I want to do? Yeah, let's do click on convert. Automatically lead is converted and my Salesforce is updated that this lead is converted for the funnel. Again, a task reminder for me that somebody is asking me for the feedback. Okay, what should be my answer? So I can type down my answer, click on submit, and that information is done. So you are going to have a similar experience across the devices. It is going to be a single pane of glass for you to access your applications, desktop, and content so that you can have a best end user experience and you are 100% productive. Now, certainly all the functionalities cannot be converted into workflows, right? So that is the reason we have all the applications access available from here too. Yeah. So Citrix Workspace can be leveraged for that purpose. Yeah,
Right.
Kalpana.
Yeah. Also, Fenil, I can see a couple of the questions coming up in the
Yeah.
questions box. And there's one question which Puneet Singh has asked, and his
Okay.
question is, how can we optimize Firefox through WEM?
Okay. Now, this is good question. I would say, first of all, workspace environment management is the particular software which is made to optimize at the operating system level first. So if you guys know, then we can convert that operating system VDI into kiosk mode. So we have a transformer functionality and all available, right? Internet Explorer level settings. So we can configure GPOs, right? So you need to find out the GPOs which you want to configure for the specific applications. For an example, for one organization, we did for Internet Explorer. Now for Firefox specific, right? So you want to do it at the GPO level at Active Directory, or you want to have those GPOs created into WEM, then you can do that. So certainly you need to find out the policies and how you want to restrict, because this is, I think, a broad term. what do you want to do into Firefox? So Puneet, I know you, right? So you can certainly send an email by having all the questions. What do you want to exactly do into Firefox? Because the app lock functionality of Windows, right? So that is no more required. You can transfer all those functionalities to WAM, Workspace Environment Management. But what exact is your ask? You can send an email to me. Yeah.
All right, and I can see Mazharuddin Muhammad has sent a question. Let me read it out. What is the best channel or graphic settings we can use for high latency networks?
Okay, perfect. So first of all, let's talk about high latency network, and then we'll come to the graphics. Now on high latency network, certainly the protocol you should prefer, and by default that is enabled, is enlightened data transport, right? So that is the first thing. Because there are environments where I have seen that they disable the ADT, because preferred protocol by default into Citrix policy set is enlightened data transport, because this is the only thing which is going to help you for any workloads, right? Considering graphic enabled workloads too, because TCP does not work well for the high latency network. So that is the reason Citrix has come up with the ADT. If TCP works well, then there is no ADT required. Because in ADT, what happens that I don't wait for your client to respond back. Yeah, it is not the connection oriented protocol, so it can decides automatically that this is the high latency network. So let's say you are on 2G or 3G and you connect to the desktop available in Australia. So I would consider that as an let's say high latency network, because it takes a lot of hope to reach to the particular VDI. So that is the one thing. Second, when you go to the Citrix HDX policies, right? So look at the first policies for WAN optimization. So those policies will help you to optimize your traffic for the wide area network. That is the second point. Third, specifically for the graphic intensive workload. Now Citrix has created something called HDX 3D, right? HDX 3D, when you install your virtual delivery agent into server operating system, desktop operating system, HDX 3D gets enabled. Now the power of HDX 3D is to optimize the utilization of resources when you have this graphic enabled workloads. And secondly, when the ICA session, HDX session is prepared, then the specific virtual channel can be used to optimize the traffic which is related to graphic. For an example, as you have asked this graphic intensive question, let me just take 2 minutes to show you this. I have one graphic enable workload into my data center. So let me just show that. That would help you. Do we have more question, Kalpana?
Yeah, we do have a couple of the, few more questions.
Okay, so let me just take this up, and then if we are done with the time, then they can send me over my email. Yeah, it is final.shy@citrix.com.
Okay.
So this is my Citrix workspace, and I am going to show you all the types of applications I have. So you see, this is the view your end users are going to have. So I have types of desktop. Now I'm connected over 4G network, right? My Wi-Fi is not working today, so I'm connected over 4G, and I'm connecting to my desktop, which is Cloud Desktop Australia. This is present into Australia, and this is a graphic enabled workloads configured with NVIDIA and enabled with the workspace environment management. So this will take around 20 to 25 seconds of time. I would consider this as an high latency network when I access to Australia. And what kind of workloads I'm accessing onto this, I will just show that to you. Now this is the screen we have. Now let me just click on Rich Graphics Apps and click on Faceworks. Now this is the heavy application which uses the NVIDIA GeForce. So you see NVIDIA GeForce, it is going to have all the workloads for this particular Faceworks, and going to show you one beautiful face in front of you. And then I will use my touch screen and all those to play with that face. And I will show you what experience you would have. Yeah. So this is the face you see. He's smiling. You can smile. I'm using my touch. You see here, touch of my laptop. And this is the seamless experience you are going to get. So why I wanted to show this, because my desktop is into Australia and I'm connected via 4G. Yeah. So certainly all this is available inside the Citrix for heavy workloads. And if you see that inside the start menu, I only have 3-4 parameters only present, right? So all this is configured via Workspace Environment Management, which is protecting. So that's on the FaceWorks.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, Penil, I must say that.
Yeah.
So also, I'll just read out one of the question of Chandrakant, and if you can just see if you will able to take it live or you want him to shoot you a mail. It's all about, can we have a solution to capture users working from the web camera till he is working? If the camera is moved or removed from the computer, it should lock and we should get the alert. So he's asking if
That's
that.
nice. Yeah. So I was in talk. See, and to be honest, right, for face recognition, we have a lot of requests coming from the BFSI customer in last 3 months because of pandemic, and they are giving core banking application access from home. So we have evaluated a lot of different softwares, right? So Citrix has an integration of with Veridium, which is for the face recognition. So we have evaluated a lot of softwares. So there is softwares available to recognize the face, recognize the fingers, biometrics, and then give you the access. But there is no software as of now available, which or the integration available. As per my experience, there is no software available so that which can identify at a continuous basis. You want to continuously monitor my face, and if you see some other face here, or you may see some other shoulder, so you see the shoulder surfing, or you see my mobile device being shown to you, so camera identifier. So these are the different requirement coming to us, and we are checking with different vendors who can enable this technology for us, right? So we have certainly a huge requirement, but I can help you, and you can even go to the YouTube and look at the video for Veridium and Citrix. So you would see how face recognition and biometric can help you. But on this continuous manner, my email address is with you, right? So we are looking for this technology. We don't find this technology yet, but what we have is there on the YouTube.
Okay, I hope Chandrakant is watching this. And Puneet has written
Yeah.
thanks for the earlier question that you have replied. And one
Okay.
more question from Srinivas Rao N is asking, which one gives to user rich experience of work from home, or physical machine VDI or virtual machine VDI?
Okay, now good question. Physical machine, I would not call it as an VDI. I would call it as an remote PC access in Citrix language. PC available into your office, you are accessing it remotely. Now, certainly you have a lot of different options, right, to access that physical machine. But why I would say with Citrix, because we talked about security and HDX, right? So that is going to give you the best end user experience when you access that physical machine. And in which case, in last 3 months, a lot of customer has taken this remote PC access use case because you don't need to invest onto server and storage. It is already done. Physical machine is available in the office. Second, no user migration activity is required because user is already having his information, application, content, everything available, and how to access it from the physical desktop. He knows that well. So, and third, there is no other investment on the licensing front, right? Your Windows is already licensed, so you don't need to invest any other thing for the Windows licensing. So looking at the cost, right, till the time if you want to survive this pandemic, which is going to looks like going to last long, and if you're not looking for data centralization, because when you move for VDI, right, you think about data centralization, and you are going to invest a lot on hardware, server, storage, licensing, all. To start with, I would recommend at least have the experience and security with Citrix to access remote PC access. And then later on, we jointly can use the same license of Citrix to design your VDI setup.
Salim has asked, what are the things in application we need to check to qualify for Workspace Intelligence?
Yeah, first you need to have REST API available for that application. And if you don't have REST API available, secondly, what we would do is we would wrap your application with HTTP. So Citrix has an HTTP wrapper available, and then we will call the functionalities of your apps. So the application which can be used with HTTP wrapper and the applications which has a REST API available, all these two applications of on-prem can be used to convert to the micro apps and use the intelligence feature of Workspace.
All right, thanks, Fenil. Somik
Yeah.
Roy is asking, how do we ensure performance for HDX Premium ready thin clients for callings and meetings?
Okay, so I think this is very simple. There are a lot of articles available on Google. The moment you type Microsoft Teams optimization for Citrix, the first link itself talks about what policy you need to configure for HDX optimization. Secondly, look for HDX optimization for your WAN traffic, your remote traffic, and you have all the list of policies available. But if you want to ask something specific on that, because this is so generic, right? There is a configuration and implementation steps available to do that. So which you can find it on Google. But if you have a specific question that you shall enable this option or not, then I can help you with. You just send an email to me.
All right, Fenil. So last question from Ajay Savan.
Yeah.
High intensive graphics workload with NVIDIA, 3-tier infrastructure is better than HCL. Do you agree? Yeah, HCI.
They both of them having their own advantages and disadvantages, right? So I have both the customer. So I have a customer who is having a HCI and who is having a GPU enabled workloads over there, and they access it into AWS, they access it into the data center. And secondly, I have the another customer who are buying a super micro hardware, and on top of that they are getting a GPU from NVIDIA, and they are creating their own setup. They are not going for HCI. So I have both the customers, and experience is fine with both, because we are agnostic, right? We always say that we are agnostic with HCI or hypervisor or cloud, whatever. Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot
Yeah.
for answering the last question, and I would request you to kindly conclude the session with the takeaway, or you can give a quick recap for our audience. It will
Sure.
be great. Yeah.
Sure. So as guys, this particular session was mainly focused related to performance. So I tried covering the performance part and showed you the graphics and how the productivity of an end user can be enhanced and how you can have a better result into the data center, right? By optimizing the server operating system via workspace environment management and all. I would recommend that you have the more detailed study related to this if you are still looking for the better performance related things. Like first, you understand HDX, right? So read about HDX. There are a lot of different articles available. Secondly, read about adaptive display and adaptive transport in Citrix to understand the protocol better. Yeah, because ADT, most of the people might have heard for first time. So you need to do that. And third, understand that how Citrix Workspace Intelligence can help you enhance the productivity. So certainly you all are going to have a digital transformation journey. In this digital transformation, how you can reduce the search time, reduce the context switching between the devices, and giving a single pane of glass for applications, desktop, and content for user to access so that they can have the best end user experience. So, and apart from that, anything you want to ask, you can send an email to me.
Absolutely, Fenil, and hopefully some of
Yep.
the learning from today's session will help us make our performance management better in the coming days. And
Sure.
thank you for sharing information with our attendees. I want to thank everyone for
You're
joining us. And really appreciate
I
your
would
time.
like to thank everyone for joining and spending their 1 hour, their precious time. We know time is money, yeah, and thank you for spending that time. And I hope that helps you, and certainly that has connected us in one or the other way, so that you can send me an email and ask for more details if required, right? So those are
Sure.
open.
All right. So stay tuned to our social media channels. Stay safe and take care.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.